What's up guys, welcome back for the YgoPro duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist. Let's pick this one up again. We are still at Group E, second match here. We have Quickdraw Dandywarrior from 2010 is paired up against an older deck. Yep, an older than 2010, from 2007 being Blood, right? You know which one I mean. The Diamond 2 Turbo from back in the old school days. One of the biggest names, especially for the, the old times, the old schooler, the old school people here that played the game back then. Blood, basically Diamond 2 Turbo featuring Destiny Hero Plasma, of course with triple dimension fusion. It's paired up against, well, back then kind of an underdog deck. I was like, well, Dandywarrior doesn't seem like that strong, but going into like a very slow game, the deck and the card is very or at least it can be very deadly, especially if you're able to recycle your Dandelion thanks to your Drill Warrior. Anyway, so which deck has the advantage? Most people prefer here, like 65% prefer Blood from winning over the Quickdraw Dandywarrior build, for a good reason, as you see here in the comments. Well, okay. The speed definitely should be the advantage, or well, Blood of course is the much faster deck compared to the much slower deck being the plant hybrid or the plant oriented deck due to the flip effects like YgoPro, and super, what is it called, like the special Mega Hamster, you know which one I mean. Anyway, so get Jinzo on the field. Back in the old school days, a very clutch card. You know, when back in the old school days, when your opponent had Jinzo, you keep top decking your trap cards. Like the good old school days, that's how it went. The two sets, yeah indeed, if I'm not mistaken, the plant particular deck, the Quickdraw Dandywarrior deck, does run triple Solemn Warning. The Heavy Storm blow him away, and now one of the biggest key plays of this deck, the biggest key combos, or well, biggest key cards I guess, is Dimension Fusion and Phoenix Blade. Back then, a little over 10 years now, the card was abused back then, and in today's format with Isolde it's still being abused. Phoenix Blade fueling your Dimension Fusion, and I can easily go for game. So game number 2, the opponent starts off, going first, still very important in Yu-Gi-Oh! A second time here, the Heavy Storm blowing away my opponent, and I think I had to, again, triple Solemn Warning, and I need that reasoning to go off. A very important card here for the key engine of the deck. Potentially setting up a Phoenix Blade and maybe some warriors or whatever, well, hopefully hitting the Stratos, potentially getting a Surge or the Demok, right? Those were the two best hits. Depending on the opponent, if they had multiple traps, Jinzo could be factored in as well. Light and Darkness Dragon back in the old school days, again, was one of those very powerful boss monsters. I remember it very well. I believe it was like end of, was it 2007? I think so, 2007, 2008, when Raida, a Light and Darkness Dragon, was released in the TCG, because we also saw OCG decklist, and back then that was a huge boss monster, a huge threat. When it hit the field, your opponent had to waste resources, card resources, to get rid of the Light and Darkness Dragon, and if you were able to get rid of it, destroyed by battle, let's say, your opponent could reborn another monster from their graveyard. And in today's format, that's like, that's not really that great, but back then, same for a card like a Course, that was superb and could like swing the momentum of your entire game. During these matches, at least this match was a very solid match, but as you see, I was quite unlucky with these draws, like multiple duels, like drawing into Malicious, drawing multiple Phoenix Blades. I don't think Mirror Force is gone, but he did take the chance of attacking with both monsters, but it worked out fine. So 1-1. Game number 3 again, I go first. It's a bit iffy if I'm playing against an OTK based deck, since yeah, the Blood deck isn't really too keen on going first and having like defense. I think only Mirror Force and Scapegoat can provide some defense if the opponent is able to OTK. But again, as I mentioned before, I am playing against an older deck, a slower deck that needs setup, like the Raikos, the Hamster, the Lone Fires, a grindy deck with Dandelion as well. So I can definitely afford like just normal summon Stratos and maybe set one back row. I don't have to fear the potential OTK. Again, super different compared to today's standards. Using Lightning Vortex to set up the Phoenix Blade. Phoenix Blade banishes multiple warriors again, setting up the Stratos here. Super clutch. The fact that Stratos is a 3 here in this particular list, and again, not once per turn, so you, and of course the 2 effects, either the Surge effect or the Harpy's Feather Duster effect, and of course you can just combine those effects. And I think this, no, this is not game. I think the opponent's going to survive with 100 life points, sadly no access to Gagaga Cowboy, but I think I didn't have any other option, right? Although, we do have Destiny Hero Plasma on the field, and you know, in like the grindy game, getting like a Jinzo on the field or a Plasma on the field that could potentially negate either monster or trap effects, that can be very important, especially if the amount of resources where the opponent is on, or you know, their resources are very limited during that particular turn or situation in that particular duel. Anyway, this is a bit unfortunate, right? Getting malicious on the field, the useless Stratos my hand, not that great. And this, you know, like perfectly resembles old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Attacking into the face down, being the hamster, and the hamster threatening or searching the Raikou, and that immediately threatens your back row, right? I'm not able to set Mirror Force since, you know, it will just get destroyed by the Raikou. Again, good old school Yu-Gi-Oh! If you didn't play back then, this is how it went, right? Anyway, so Dimension Fusion, kind of a weak Dimension, well, weak. Just getting, I believe, one Stratos, not really sure, Malicious as well, but again, very important here, getting the Stratos Harpy's Feather Duster effect, forcing out the double back row that clears the path for another Dimension Fusion, getting the Plasma on the field as well, again, very important, negating all those monster effects, and I don't think I was able to attack for a game, but again, the Plasma on the field, negating those monster effects is very, very clutch, especially against a deck that's really reliant on monster effects, like, you know, the Breed Dragon, Raikou, etc, etc. So here, I think I'm in a very good position, putting both Malicious to defense, since I could potentially go for a game, but I think there was only Mirror Force that could have saved him, or maybe Scapegoat if the list is running it, I don't think so, but Mirror Force is definitely one of those cards. And a tribute for D-Monk, but I felt I was definitely going to lose this one, especially if it was a Raikou here in this situation, if he could have followed up with a big beatstick, that is. But nope, but here, that clutch Cold Wave, ah man, that's terrible. You know, activating Cold Wave at the start of your main phase 1 prevents both players from either setting or activating spells or traps, right, for both players' turns. And that Light and Darkness Dragon, well, it's not really that big of a deal, but the problem is well, I can't set up my field, and I'm very low on life points, so I can't use my game winner, the Dimension Fusion, right? So I can force out, or, you know, like, lower the Light and Darkness Dragon. You know, the big weakness of Light and Darkness Dragon is that it can only negate the first card here in the chain, so any chain after the effect of Light and Darkness Dragon, let's say Book of Moon or Bottomless Trap Ball, it cannot negate that one. So the good old school, or, you know, if you knew how to play around like the Darkness Dragon, it wasn't that big of a deal. Then again, you know, a lot of players didn't really know that back in the old school days. But anyway, so the opponent going for Chunk Destroyer. Yep. Chunk Destroyer in the Cross-Banlist Cup series, getting the, I believe, the One of Destruction, but that was, I don't think it was needed, but just securing the win, I guess. So game number 5, the also important game number 5. I open up again. No, I don't have to fear a potential OTK. And ladies and gentlemen, this hand is the OTK hand needed. Drawing Jinzo isn't really that fantastic with that able to tribute summon for it to force out the potential back row or just stop or block it, right? But here in this case it was forced out, being the Solemn Warning, so I can freely go for Monster Gate and kinda hope I hit a Phoenix Blade, and I think I do. There should be a Phoenix Blade, yep indeed. So I can set up my banished pile and potentially go for game by going for Destiny Hero Plasma. Again, such an underrated card here. Using Premature Burial basically put game on board. Maybe a bar course, but nope. Destiny Hero Plasma is going to prevent the token from being special summoned, and that's just enough to attack for a game, right? Ah, delicious, right? The Destiny Hero Plasma Turbo, Diamond 2 Turbo, or Blood, as it was called back in the OCG. Such a clutch deck, such a cruel deck, if you take a look at it. So 6 points here for Destiny Hero Turbo for Blood. Quickdraw, Dandywarrior still sitting at 4 points, but both Infernity and Blood taking the lead here in this particular group. So the next matchup, again like always, feel free to leave your predictions. It will be Group F, Burning Abyss against Clifford. Oh man, such a stun deck, Clifford versus Burning Abyss. So again like always, feel free to leave your predictions. Which match or which deck is going to win this particular matchup? Top right corner, the eye symbol like always, and feel free to leave a comment. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.